Hello and welcome. We are live from New Delhi. You're watching DD India News Hour, India's voice to the world. I'm Abhishek Mahajan. Coming up in the next hour. Deposed Syrian President Assad and his family granted asylum in Russia. International community seeks stability. India says monitoring the situation. Donald Trump says will attempt to end birthright US citizenship. Also aims to deport all illegal immigrants. Rajasthan is rising, reliable and receptive, says Prime Minister Narendra Modi at the International Investor Summit in Jaipur. And 2024 set to become the hottest year on record. So Syrians poured into streets firing celebratory gunshots after stunning rebel advance reached the capital Damascus, ending the Assad family's 50 years of unrule. It also raises questions about the future of the country and stability in the wider region. India is monitoring the situation and has advocated for a peaceful and inclusive Syrian-led political process.
From palace to exile within days, Bashar al-Assad's iron grip on Syria is finally over. Al-Assad reached Russia on Sunday evening after fleeing the country. It was a stunning fall triggered by a lightning-fast offensive by the rebels that seized Damascus within a week. Syrian rebel commander Abu Muhammad al-Golani was greeted by the cheering crowds as he entered the historic Umayyad Mosque in Damascus.
This victory, my brothers, is a new chapter in the history of entire Islamic nation. It is a turning point for the region. How many dangers have we avoided? He handed Syria over to Iranian ambitions, spreading sectarianism and corruption throughout the country.
Russia confirmed that Assad and his family were granted asylum in Moscow, with the foreign ministry issuing a statement that following his talks with a number of participants in the armed conflict, Bashar al-Assad decided to step down as the Syrian president and leave the country. International leaders, including US President Joe Biden, UK Prime Minister Keir Starmer, Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu and UN Secretary General Antonio Guterres hailed this as a historic opportunity for Syrians to rebuild their nation.
After 13 years of civil war in Syria, more than half a century of brutal authoritarian rule by Bashar Assad and his father before him, rebel forces have forced Assad to resign his office and flee the country. We're not sure where he is, but there's word that he's in Moscow. At long last, the Assad regime has fallen.
This is a historic day for the Middle East. The collapse of the Assad regime, the tyranny in Damascus, offers great opportunity, but also is fraught with significant dangers. This collapse is a direct result of our forceful action against Hezbollah and Iran, Assad's main supporters. It set off a chain reaction of all those who want to free themselves from this tyranny and its suppression.
India's Ministry of External Affairs said it was monitoring the situation in Syria. India advocated the need for all parties to work towards preserving the unity, sovereignty and territorial integrity of Syria and advocated a peaceful and inclusive Syrian-led political process respecting the interests and aspirations of all sections of the Syrian society. The Indian embassy in Damascus is in contact with the Indian community for their safety and security. Earlier, India issued an advisory to citizens to avoid all travel to Syria until further notice. At least 370,000 people, mostly women and children, have now been displaced in Syria due to the latest escalation in fighting, according to the UN Office for Coordination of Humanitarian Affairs. As night fell over Damascus without Assad for the first time in years, the city was eerily quiet. save for armed rebels patrolling its streets. The fall of Assad's regime is not just an end, but a new beginning for Syria, a nation that is now tasked with the monumental challenge of healing, rebuilding, and establishing a functional democracy run by the people. Bureau Report, DD India.
And after Syrian president was ousted and taken shelter in Moscow, the evolving situation is fraught with uncertainties. While this may trigger a power struggle in different regions of the country, its relation to the wider Middle East and the outer world is also uncertain. Watch in this report by DD India's Akhilesh Suman about the fallouts of Assad's departure from a nation that he ruled for 24 years.
To assess the evolving situation, the United Nations Security Council has convened an emergency closed-door meeting on Monday regarding Syria in the aftermath of President Assad leaving the war-torn country that he ruled for decades. However, the United States did not wait for the meeting and acted fast to remove the remnants of radical elements. Over 75 US airstrikes have targeted ISIS strongholds across Syria. The goal, to prevent the terror group from capitalizing on the chaos following Assad's fall. US officials have warned that a power vacuum in Syria could fuel ISIS's resurgence. But ISIS isn't the only threat. Multiple rebel groups, including the powerful Islamist faction Hayat Tahrir al-Sham, have emerged as key players. HTS forces led the final assault on Assad's stronghold in Damascus, effectively ending his 24-year reign. The question is whether US will talk to this new group.
This is a positive sort of sign because there is that sort of contact and coordination. But I think it's not gonna likely play a big role in terms of what comes next because you have different armed groups and different sort of areas of control.
Though HTS now controls much of northern Syria, its history of extremist ideology raises questions. US has declared HTS leader as terrorist and has declared $10 million for information on its leader, Abu Muhammad al-Golani, also known as Muhammad al-Jawlani. Despite public promises to respect minorities like Christians and Druze, skeptics doubt the group's commitment to tolerance, let alone democracy.
It has tried to assure minorities living there, Christians, other religious minorities, for them to have a role and to not be persecuted.
Meanwhile, Israel has launched targeted airstrikes, reportedly destroying weapons depots in Damascus. Israeli officials fear Syria could become a launchpad for hostile forces near its borders. Israelis does not want the weapons fall in smaller groups in Syria and create problems. Iranians, who have always been supporting Assad, is wary of the situation in Syria now. They say, will watch the behavior of the group that takes hold of power in Damascus.
Our interaction with them will depend on their behavior. What policy will they adopt against the Islamic Republic of Iran? What policy will they have against the Syrian Shiites? What will be the distance between them and the Zionist regime?
With Syria's future hanging in the balance, global powers remain worried. The central question is whether Syria's next government be a democratic state embracing diversity or an Islamist regime enforcing strict religious rule, continuing the conflict in the region. Akhilesh Suman's report for DT India.
All right, to talk more on this, we are joined by defense and geopolitical expert, retired Major General Sudhakar J from Jaipur. Welcome, sir. So, after much speculations, Bashar al-Assad is in Moscow now, it's confirmed, given asylum. What do you think? What is next for Syria and its people too? Because Syria's future hinges on uncertainty.
Yes, Abhishek, good afternoon. Thank you for getting me to your show. As regards your question, all I would say at this juncture is that we need to keep our fingers crossed till 20th of January. I'm very, very optimistic that post 20th January 2025, the West Asia is going to witness a different landscape and new contours of the conflict. Why am I that? Let's identify what has happened since 2011 till date. You have given out all your reporters, they have covered it very comprehensively. I wish to highlight certain issues, if you allow me, if the time permits.
Yes, please go on, sir.
First and foremost thing, we are fully aware of the fact of the 7th October 2023, how Hamas, they conducted a kind of a Black Swan Day event against the formidable defense force of the planet. And that was the start point. So the counter commenced against the Hamas. Thereafter, it followed. The focus shifted to towards the north of Israel or south of Lebanon against the Hezbollah. We need to understand the geostrategic importance of Syria. First and foremost thing, history. The geography actually assumes a lot of importance. When we talk about the West Asia, we need to be mindful of the proxies and the Iran. They call it as octopus doctrine. By Israeli military science, they call it an octopus doctrine. Now, what is the means? The head of octopus is actually occupied by Iran, and Iran, by virtue of the lack of proximity to the enemy state, that is Israel, distance being around 1800 to 2100 kilometers from each other, it controls or keeps a checkmate on Israel by virtue of the proximity, the proxies. Call it the Houthis in the Yemen, call it the Hamas, or call it the Hezbollah. There are four H. Okay, this fourth H1 is Hassan al-Sahib, which actually came into existence post the attack against the ISIS in 2017, and also invasion of US and NATO forces into Iraq. When the Shiite militias, they came into existence, Iran took advantage and started capitalizing and regrouping them. That became the fourth H. So having said all this, at the moment, Syria, by virtue of its geographic location, actually a corridor passes which is connecting between Iran to Hezbollah. So first and foremost is that the Hezbollahs and this supply chain or the line of communication and Iran, the head of the octopus, they have been weakened to large an extent. Second point, Russia, having been involved deeply in the Ukraine war, has also been subjected to a lot of attrition. Therefore, Russia will not be able to participate in support of the Syrian conflict. Last but not the least is the stakeholders. Who are the stakeholders? The stakeholders is the first one is the Assad, whom now you've just disclosed that he is safe in asylum in Russia, that is in Moscow. That is called as the regime. The second component, which is called as the YPG or the People's Protection Force, what does it involve? The People's Protection Force are nothing but the Kurdish militias who are willy-nilly into a form of a detau with the regime, and they have been supporting each other, not targeting each other. The third and most important one is the STS, which is called as the Hayat Tahrir al-Sham. It is headed by Mohammed al-Julani.
Right.
Once when USA was there in Iraq and operating in Afghanistan way back in 2003, he was a member of Al-Qaeda. Having fallen apart with Al-Qaeda, it is actually moved to Syria. He is the head of the militia or the militant groups.
Right.
Now taking care of Idlib. Now what is the problem? The problem is the autocratic form of government of the Assad regime and his predecessor, his father. The people, citizens of this particular country, they have been yearning, they have been dying and dreaming for some form of democracy so that the basic aspiration and the necessities are met. The government of Assad regime has not been able to fulfill any kind of the aspirations, despite having come in support by none other than Russia. But at the moment, what has happened is, by virtue of Russia having got committed in Ukraine, Turkey has taken advantage of.
Yeah.
Turkey is the country which is actually given the trigger to this HTS regime, duly supported by the Turkey forces, which is called SNA, and SNA is essentially the Syrian National Army.
General Sudhakar, like you were saying, Assad had the backing of Iran and Russia, and both got busy. They had their own struggles, Iran with Israel and Russia with Ukraine. But sir, India issued an advisory a couple of days ago and asking its nationals to leave Syria at the earliest. And today also it said that India is monitoring the entire situation. We want to know from you, sir, what do you think Assad's fall mean for India?
It means a disaster, actually. It has got very serious implications as far as the India is concerned, because anything that happens in West Asia has got a direct and indirect bearing on India, because the supply chain of the international trade is passing through, as you know, Suez Canal. We have also plans to extend the IME corridor. Plus, the Syria is actually the central, it is the pivot of connectivity, be it the Northwest Africa or the Europe or to the Caucasus region. And for that matter, we have a substantial number of the Indian diaspora present in Syria. What is going to actually come into effect is that the terrorism is likely to get an impetus. The same ISIS that we are talking of, whose backbone had been actually decimated way back in 2017, there is a possibility of revival of this terrorism with the help of the Turkey. And with that coming, Turkey, of course, is highly in danger. There is a dangerous situation which is developing. But the terrorists, by virtue of reviving in this particular corridor, are likely to spill over. Earlier, it started with, Gaza. Thereafter, it came to the Hezbollah area or the south of Lebanon. Now it has gone to Damascus.
Yeah.
Slowly realize that the corridor of the caliphate, the erstwhile caliphate, seems to be expanding. If that extends towards Iraq, then it's not very far away from Iran, that is the Tehran. It may lead to a kind of a regime. Either of the places, it could be a revisit of Iraq, what we have witnessed in the past, a regime change in Iran, or spillover of terrorists coming across the Pakistan into our territory. That is one. Is the IMEC is going to be subjected to severe doubt, speculations, whether it is going to be a successful venture or not. Third and most important thing is West Asia is vulnerable to further turmoil.
Right.
If administration doesn't actually dig in his heels and comes down heavily.
Yes, yes, General Sudhakar, I'm sorry, we are running short of time. Sorry to cut you short, but yes, Syria's future looks very uncertain. Thank you. We'll leave it at that. Thank you for giving us your precious time, General Sudhakar. Still to come on this edition of DD India News Hour. India's Defence Minister Rajnath Singh to witness the commissioning of Indian Navy's new frigate INS Tushil in Russia. India's External Affairs Minister to co-chair 4th India-Bahrain High Joint Commission with Bahrain FM. And Indian Foreign Secretary Vikram Misri in Dhaka hold talks with Bangladeshi counterpart. Welcome back. You're watching DD India News Hour. I'm Abhishek Mahajan. Prime Minister Narendra Modi visiting the northwest Indian state of Rajasthan, where he inaugurated the 3-day Rising Rajasthan Global Investment Summit 2024 and the Rajasthan Global Business Expo in Jaipur. The theme of the 3-day-long investment summit is Replete, Responsible, Ready. Addressing the gathering on the occasion, PM Modi said that India has achieved success in every sector through the mantra of reform, perform and transform, and became world's 5th largest economy.
हर इन्वेस्टर भारत को लेकर बहुत ही उत्साहित है। रिफॉर्म, परफॉर्म, ट्रांसफॉर्म के मंत्र पर चलते हुए भारत ने जो विकास किया है वो हर क्षेत्र में नजर आता है। आजादी के बाद के 7 दशक में भारत दुनिया की 11वीं सबसे बड़ी इकोनॉमी बन पाया था। उसके सामने पिछले 10 वर्ष में भारत 10th लार्जेस्ट इकोनॉमी से 5th लार्जेस्ट इकोनॉमी बना है। बीते 10 वर्षों में भारत ने अपनी इकोनॉमी की साइज करीब करीब डबल किया है। बीते 10 वर्षों में भारत का एक्सपोर्ट भी करीब करीब डबल हो गया है। 2014 से पहले के दशक की तुलना में बीते दशक में एफडीआई भी 2 गुना से अधिक हुआ है। इस दौरान भारत ने इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर का खर्च करीब 2 ट्रिलियन रुपए से बढ़कर 11 ट्रिलियन तक पहुंचा दिया है।
And DD India's Vishal Barristo is covering the story, is joining us live from Jaipur. Vishal, tell us first of all, what were the key highlights and takeaways of the PM's address at Rajasthan?
Well, a very good afternoon to you, Abhishek. Now, when we talk about the key highlights, Prime Minister said that Rajasthan is the largest state of the country, and like its size, the heart of the people is also very large. So he assured the investors all across the globe that you come, invest, and be assured that you will get worth for your money. And there are ample opportunities. Rajasthan is the hub for solar energy, which is very crucial to the vision of Prime Minister Modi's green energy. Also, Rajasthan is very high as far as tourism is concerned. Every third person that visits India visits Rajasthan. Then Rajasthan is also known for its wildlife. And then you have the minerals and the rare earth. So it is full of opportunities. So come, invest, and be a part of the developing Rajasthan that would finally contribute to the Viksit Bharat, which means a developed country by 2047. Abhishek?
All right, Vishal, also tell us what all opportunities this 3-day International Investor Summit is offering.
Well, there are a lot of opportunities. First, to have a look at what Rajasthan has to offer apart from the business. You have the culture of Rajasthan that has to be explored. Then there are different sessions, 8 sessions, 8 for 8 countries. So this is going to be very, very important because foreign investors are also there and more than 30 countries are participating in this event. Then you also have a special session for the Indian diaspora. That means non-Rajasthanis settle abroad. We know how Marwadis are known for their business acumen all across the world. So you can have one-on-one with the businessmen of Rajasthan who are there, settle abroad. Today itself, I've spoken to the Deputy Foreign Minister exclusively for DT India, and he told me that Rajasthan also has a connect with Poland because the palace of Jodhpur was exclusively decorated by the Polish designer. So there you have Rajasthan is also the hub for green energy, and Poland looks very, very eager to invest in solar energy. So these are the areas where you can come and invest. The next 3 days, today, counting the date today itself, would be very, very crucial because Rajasthan has made some very important changes in its economic policy. They have a new economic policy which has 30 changes. So Rajasthan is looking at doubling its economy in next 5 years.
All right, Vishal, we'll leave it at that. Thank you for your inputs. Now, the penultimate week of the winter session saw the Lok Sabha or the lower house adjourned till 3 p.m. Earlier in the Lok Sabha, amid heavy sloganeering, MP Sandhya Ray, who was in the chair, attempted to conduct some business. She tried to proceed with the 0 hour, but as the protests continued, she was forced to adjourn the house initially till 2 p.m. In Rajya Sabha or the upper house, the Banking Laws Amendment Bill is on agenda. The Rajya Sabha was adjourned till 2 p.m. minutes after the House reconvened at 12 noon. The members continued to trade charges over the issue of billionaire George Soros, whom the BJP claims is linked to Congress leader Sonia Gandhi. Despite attempts from the chairman to proceed with the agenda for the day, the House stands adjourned as the members resorted to sloganeering.
It is not possible. The House stands adjourned to meet at 2 p.m. is not possible.
All right, to give us more updates, Anil Thomas joins us from Delhi. Anil, this is the third week of the winter session and both the houses have been disrupted frequently. What do you think will be the strategy of the government now so that the parliament functions smoothly in the next 10-11 days?
Well, good afternoon, Abhishek. Well, that's been the cause of concern. If one takes a look at this penultimate week of Parliament, many expected it to be, somewhere in between week 1 and week 2 of Parliament that we have seen. Week 1 was totally disrupted due to disruptions that the opposition managed to create. But then week 2, the government did manage to do some transaction of business, especially 4 bills that were, in both Parliament that were discussed, deliberated, and passed with the government, getting the numbers needed. Through the voice vote there, these bills getting passed. But this particular third week has started on a very, I would say a mixed bag for the government and for the opposition. Is generally a lot of sloganeering that the opposition has been doing. The opposition has been raising issues, especially with regards to the statement that the External Affairs Minister made on China. A full discussion on that is what was moved, that was rejected. Then there has been too much of noise, too much of chaos, especially with regards to George Soros and the foundation, especially the Indian leg of the foundation that he's been, sponsoring. So there's been a lot of hue and cry in the Parliament, and I think no real transaction of business taking place. There is one, especially the banking amendment bill that's passed in the Lok Sabha in this session of Parliament that needs to be taken up in the upper house. So in that post-lunch session at 2 o'clock, that bill was brought up. But, the opposition creating ruckus and that bill couldn't be discussed. In the law of that Lok Sabha, you've got 2 bills, the railway amendment bill that was introduced on the 4th of December. The last 3 days, you've seen deliberations, discussions taking place on that. The minister is all set to reply and the bill will be on the House to pass the test through voice vote. And then we have the disaster management amendment bill that the Home Minister Amit Shah is going to introduce in a short while from now. But things, this particular day, the start of the week, has been on a, has not been on a positive note. Let me put it that way. And, we'll have to wait and, it looks almost certain that, Monday could be, no business transacted, but we'll have to wait and see how things pan out, how things play out differently on Tuesday.
All right, Anil, we'll leave it at that. Thank you for getting us the latest on the Indian Parliament. Moving on, India's Defence Minister Rajnath Singh is visiting Moscow, during which he will commission the Indian Navy's latest multi-role stealth guided missile frigate INS Tushil at Yantra Shipyard, Kaliningrad. Chief of the Naval Staff Admiral Dinesh K. Tripathi will accompany Rajnath Singh for the commissioning ceremony. Besides, on Tuesday, Rajnath Singh, along with his Russian counterpart Andrei Belousov, will co-chair the 21st meeting of India-Russia Intergovernmental Commission on Military and Military Technical Cooperation. The two leaders will review the entire range of multifaceted relations between the two countries in the field of defense, including military-to-military and industrial cooperation. They will also exchange views on contemporary regional and global issues of mutual interest. In addition, Defence Minister will also pay tributes at the Tomb of the Unknown Soldier in Moscow to honour the Soviet soldiers killed during the Second World War. He will also interact with the members of the Indian community. For more updates, DD India's Nandita Dagar joins us live from the newsroom. Nandita, Defence Minister Rajnath Singh will commission the Navy's latest INS Tushil at Russia. Tell us about this state-of-the-art warship.
Yes, this warship INS Tushil is a Krivac 3 class warship or multi-role guided stealth frigate of the Krivac 3 class, which were in service with the Russians also, and we have 6 of these already operating with the Indian Navy, 3 Talwar class and 3 Teg class. The 3 Talwar class were built in St. Petersburg, the 3 Teg class were built in the Kaliningrad shipyard. So this is again the 7th one, and the agreement for this warship, which is about 4,000 tons, weighing 4,000 tons. It is about 125 meters long. The agreement of this was signed in October 2016 when President Putin and Prime Minister Modi had met. This was one of the agreements that was signed, which included building 2 shipyards in Russian 2 in Russian shipyards, and the following 4 at our Indian shipyard, that is the Goa shipyard. So this is Tushil, which means the protector shield, and the motto of the ship is Abhedya, which means it is impenetrable. And this warship, of course, has a number of weapons and sensors. 26% of the weapons and sensors of the ship are Indian. The number of Indian systems which are made by Indian original equipment manufacturers or OEMs has risen to 33. Tata Systems, Keltron, Nova, as well as Bharat Electronics Limited and BrahMos are some of the Indian entities which have weapons and sensors on board the INS Tushil. So its sea harbor phase and sea phase trials are over, and they have been very satisfactory. The weapons, the sea phase also included the weapon firings, and therefore it has been very satisfactory for the warship overseeing team which was stationed there at Kaliningrad. It functioned under the Indian embassy in Moscow, and the warship overseeing team, after it has taken the delivery of the ship, and now we are waiting for it to be commissioned by the Defence Minister Rajnath Singh, and our Navy Chief Admiral Dinesh Tripathi is also accompanying him. So we are expecting this ship to be commissioned. Of course, it will be a lethal addition to the Navy's fleet, because it has weapons which is surface to air firings, anti-submarine warfare, a surface warship, anti-ship missiles. So this is a very potent platform that will be commissioned into the Indian Navy.
All right, Nandita. Thank you for telling us in detail about INS Tushil.
Thank you.
Well, India's External Affairs Minister Dr. S. Jaishankar is in Bahrain, where he will co-chair the 4th India-Bahrain High Joint Commission with Foreign Minister of Bahrain Abdul Latif bin Rashid Al Zayani in Manama today. The ministerial meeting will review the entire gamut of bilateral relations and discuss avenues to further strengthen the multifaceted ties between India and Bahrain. Dr. Jaishankar arrived in Bahrain's Manama on Saturday on the final leg of his two-nation visit. And Indian Foreign Secretary Vikram Misri is in Dhaka to lead the Indian delegation at the next round of India-Bangladesh Foreign Office consultation, where bilateral trade issues and other matters of mutual concern are expected to be discussed. Misri had earlier expressed optimism that Dhaka and New Delhi could move forward pragmatically and realistically to restore ties to a completely normal state. The FOC, led by the Foreign Secretaries, is a structured engagement between Bangladesh and India. This is the first high-level engagement between India and Bangladesh post-political changeover in Bangladesh on August 5. The last annual FOC was held in New Delhi on November 24th, 2023. And during the visit, the Indian Foreign Secretary met his Bangladeshi counterpart Jashimuddin at the State Guest House Padma. Following the meeting, the Foreign Secretary is scheduled to attend a luncheon and hold a courtesy call with Foreign Affairs Advisor of Bangladesh, Mohammad Touhid Hussain. The visit comes days after New Delhi urged Dhaka to ensure the safety and security of Hindus and other minorities there following reports of violence against them. Well, now update on Israel-Hamas conflict. Almost 12 days after a fragile ceasefire took effect on November 27, ending the 13-month conflict between Hezbollah and Israel, all eyes are now on Israel's offensive against Hamas. The sources now indicating that both the warring sides are close to reaching a small ceasefire deal. The Israeli Broadcasting Authority reported on Sunday, citing political sources, saying that the two sides are close to finalizing a deal that would include a 2-month ceasefire. The deal would also involve the release of prisoners under humanitarian cases, including the elderly, women, the wounded and the sick, and the withdrawal of the Israeli army from parts of the Gaza Strip, the sources said, without providing further details. Hamas and mediating countries Egypt and Qatar have not commented on the report for now. Hamas delegation has left Cairo after meeting with the head of Egypt's General Intelligence Service. According to sources, Hamas has reportedly submitted an initial list with the names of the hostages who would be included in a possible hostage deal. Israel estimates that there are currently 101 Israeli prisoners held in Gaza. Well, now a quick update on Russia-Ukraine conflict. Ukrainian leader Volodymyr Zelensky has said Kiev needed an enduring peace to protect it from Russia after talks in Paris with US President-elect Donald Trump. Earlier in an interview, US President-elect Trump said that his incoming administration would reduce aid to Ukraine. He added Zelensky was keen for a deal and called for negotiations to start. The pair met a day earlier with French leader Emmanuel Macron at the Elysee Palace. Trump has boasted he could end the conflict swiftly without saying how. The Kremlin, meanwhile, accused Ukraine of refusing to negotiate and said its conditions to enter peace talks, which include Kiev giving up 4 regions, remain unchanged. Trump had earlier called for an immediate ceasefire and called for talks to begin. Meanwhile, the first day of Donald Trump as the 47th President of the United States of America is expected to be no less than some fireworks. Actually, quite evident from the plans being presented by himself ahead of the inauguration on January 20th next year. In a recent interview, Trump said that he plans to take executive action to end birthright citizenship on the first day in office. Birthright citizenship is conferred on anyone who is born in the US irrespective of the parent's immigration status. Trump's plans to end birthright citizenship is not likely to be achieved easily and would face legal challenges. He has hinted at working with Democrats on the same. The citizenship right stems from an amendment to the US Constitution and is supported by the 1898 Supreme Court precedent. The Republican is also expected to declare illegal immigration a national emergency when he takes office and order a countrywide crackdown. As of January 2022, the US Department of Homeland Security estimated some 11 million illegal immigrants in the US. Trump, however, remains open to the idea of protecting dreamer immigrants who were brought to the US illegally as children. Further, he said that he would act on his first day in office to pardon rioters involved in the January 6, 2021 Capitol attack. At least 1,572 defendants have been charged in the January 6 attack, out of which around 900 have already pleaded guilty, including those accused of acting violently in the attack. Trump has assured to look at the individual cases. Moving further, South Korean President Yoon Suk-yeol has been banned from travelling abroad by the country's official corruption investigation office. Yoon is under probe for his declaration of martial law last week. This comes after the country's defense ministry said that Yoon was still the commander-in-chief. Yoon's grip on power has come into question, with dissent growing among senior military officers against the president and his own party saying it would establish a task force to handle his eventual resignation. However, Yoon has rejected calls to step down despite a criminal investigation against him for alleged treason. Updates from Georgia now, where pro-EU protests have entered the 11th day as thousands of demonstrators rallied against the government's decision to shelve European Union accession talks. Prime Minister Irakli Kobakidze's shock decision last week that EU candidate Georgia will not seek the opening of accession talks has triggered a fresh wave of protest. Earlier, the country's pro-Western opposition and the president rejected the ruling Georgian Dream Party's victory in October 26th parliamentary polls alleging electoral fraud. The poll results triggered massive protest against the party. Now let's now take a look at other stories making news around the world. Hundreds of inline skaters from all ages participated in the 4th edition of Havana Skate Marathon in Cuba. The event also hosted World Skate Marathon Tour 2024. In addition to the marathon, the event also includes skateboarding, spinning and skate cross competitions. Now, musician and producer Jay-Z was accused in a lawsuit submitted Sunday of raping a 13-year-old with hip-hop star Sean Combs in the year 2000. Meanwhile, Jay-Z has denied the allegations against him on his social media account. Taylor Swift took the stage in Canada's Vancouver on Sunday for the final show of a record-breaking Eras Tour, a cultural phenomenon that has become the highest-grossing musical tour in history. Taylor's worldwide tour began in March 2023 in the US state of Arizona. Now, the year 2024 will be the world's warmest since records began, as per the European Union's Copernicus Climate Change Service, as part of their monthly bulletin on global air surface temperatures for November. The current extraordinary high temperatures are expected to persist into at least the first few months of 2025. It will also be the first year to exceed 1.5 degrees Celsius, with C3S scientists indicating that 2024 could be as warm as 1.55 degrees Celsius above the pre-industrial average, a concerning sign that breaching the 1.5 degrees Celsius Paris Agreement temperature target is closer than scientists once expected. The bulletin also highlighted that the near record average global temperatures will continue into the first months of 2025. The main cause of the global warming is the continued burning of oil, coal and natural gas. And after rain lashed in several parts of Delhi NCR, the quality of air has been improved in the national capital on Monday, showing a sign of relief for its citizens. As per the Central Pollution Control Board, the AQI in Delhi recorded at 231 as it plunges into the poor category. Due to rainfall, the Indian Met Department has predicted cold wave with drop in temperatures in Delhi NCR starting today. Meanwhile, cold wave continued in Jammu and Kashmir, Srinagar, as mercury dips to sub-zero temperatures, also leading to winter chill in nearby states of India. Whereas for the first time in many decades, Himachal Pradesh's Shimla received fresh snowfall of the season in early December. The white blanket of snowfall has enhanced the scenic charm of Shimla, leading to attracting tourists to its stunning landscapes. Now let's take a look at other stories making news. A bomb disposal squad defused an improvised explosive device detected by security forces at Jammu and Kashmir's Srinagar-Baramulla National Highway on Monday. Investigations has been set into motion after the diffusion. After over 40 schools received bomb threats in Delhi, police has said that nothing suspicious has been found yet. The threats was sent by email demanded a ransom of $30,000 from multiple schools in Delhi. BJP MLA Rahul Narvekar has been elected as the Speaker of the Maharashtra Legislative Assembly on Monday. He will take charge of the State Assembly for a second consecutive term as the Speaker. And the Noida International Airport Limited conducted its first flight validation test at the newly built airport in Uttar Pradesh's Jewar on Monday. Commercial flights are scheduled to start from April 2025 from the airport. Still to come on this edition of DD India News Hour. D. Gukesh, in fact, we are talking about hockey. We will get your detailed story after the break.
Complex issues, hidden agendas, twists and turns, strategic games. We think all dots are linked, we just need to connect them. Join me every week as I connect the dots to unravel hidden designs in statecraft, mysteries and decode issues that matter to you. Watch Connecting the Dots with me at these times on DD India.
Welcome back. You're watching DD India News Hour. I'm Abhishek Mahajan, and works of South Korean novelist Han Kang, the winner of the 2024 Nobel Prize in Literature, was shown on the wall of Stockholm City Hall in Sweden. All right, we'll get you details about that, but time now For sports updates, we'll start with chess. Indian teenage challenger D. Gukesh looks to continue dominance against China's Ding Liren in the 12th game of the World Chess Championship 2024 on Monday. On Sunday, Grandmaster Gukesh stunned world champion Ding Liren with the breathtaking queen sacrifice, forcing him to resign on the spot. Gukesh took a crucial lead as the tournament has entered the final stretch. The win gave him a 6-5 lead with just 3 games to play. The victory ended 7 consecutive draws in the championship and gave the 18-year-old a big psychological advantage in the 14-match series. Hockey now. The Indian junior women's hockey team will take on Malaysia in the second match of Women's Asia Cup tournament on Monday. Earlier, India made a strong start in the tournament, cruising to a mammoth 13-1 victory over Bangladesh in their opening Pool A match on Sunday. India's Deepika opened the scoring in the 7th minute with a well-executed penalty corner. 2 more goals came in the following minutes from Manisha and Kanika Sivach, putting India 3-0 ahead. Bangladesh's Orpita Pal scored the lone goal for the team in the same minute, after which India showed pure dominance to score the next 10 goals. The team is not only looking to defend its title here, but also hoping to qualify directly for next year's Junior World Cup in Chile, Santiago. The 4 semi-finalists will get automatic entry into the World Cup. And Lewis Hamilton ended his glorious 12-year spell at Mercedes with cheers and tears on Sunday after finishing a rousing 4th from the starting 16th in the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix. The 7-time world champion stirred emotions with his driving and his words after a classic recovery drive that saw him pass teammate George Russell on the final lap. Hamilton had spoken eloquently of his feelings and his love for the Silver Arrows team in radio exchanges before spinning donuts in his car to the cheers of a chanting crowd. In 12 seasons, Hamilton started 246 races with Mercedes, a record for a driver with a single team. He won 84, secured 13 other podium finishes and claimed 78 pole positions and 6 of his 7 drivers' world championships. And Premier League club Manchester United said on Sunday that Dan Ashworth has left his role as the sporting director after 5 months in the job by mutual agreement. The 53-year-old was recruited from Newcastle United and arrived in July to much fanfare. However, the decision was made to part ways after a meeting between Ashworth and Chief Executive Omar Berrada after Man United's 3-2 home loss to Nottingham Forest on Saturday. Ashworth had played a key part in reshaping the club following Jim Ratcliffe's purchase of a minority share and has overseen major decisions such as retaining manager Erik ten Hag last summer. And former Manchester United and Portugal winger Nani announced his retirement from professional football at the age of 38. Nani joined United in 2007 and made 230 appearances for the club, scoring 41 goals. He won the Champions League in his first season and went on to win 4 Premier League titles and 2 League Cups in 8 seasons. Nani has played for 10 clubs across the world throughout his career, including Valencia, Lazio, Orlando City, Venezia, Melbourne Victory and Adana Demirspor. He has been playing in the Portuguese top flight this season for his hometown club Estrela Amadora and played his last game against his former club Sporting CP last month. Nani scored 24 goals in 112 caps for Portugal and was part of the European Championship winning team in 2016. And with an aim to make fitness a part of daily life, promote physical activity and encourage sports, a Masters Athletics meet for people aged 30 and above was organized in the national capital on Sunday. Here's more.
As the crisp winter air enveloped the Jawaharlal Nehru Stadium in Delhi, a vibrant community of fitness enthusiasts gathered on a typical Sunday morning to embark on a journey of wellness and self-discovery. United by a shared passion of physical fitness, healthy aging and sportsmanship, these individuals took to the track with unwavering dedication, embracing the transformative power of exercise and camaraderie. Master Athletic Association of Delhi organized the Delhi chapter of Master Athletic Meet 2024, an event for those of our age 30 with no upper age limit up to 100 years old. People from all walks of life and all age groups came together and showcased their prowess in track and throwing events.
Having grown up with a passion for sports, I have continued to prioritize my physical fitness as I have grown older. These days, I make it a point to walk 2-3 kilometers daily. My heartfelt wish is that everyone may enjoy good health, wellness, and prosperity.
Promoting PM Modi's Fit India movement, the event aimed to encourage people to make physical activity and sports an integral part of their daily routine.
और हमने जब से स्टार्ट किया है मास्टर्स का, इतने लोगों का मतलब देख के आप भी देख रहे हैं कि भाई 92 प्लस भी है, 97 प्लस भी है, लास्ट ईयर 106 प्लस भी आई थी लेडी मैम। तो इनको देख के ऐसा लगता है कि मतलब फिट इंडिया जो प्रोग्राम है मोदी जी का, तो उसके अकॉर्डिंगली हम जो कर रहे हैं, और हमें ऐसा लगता है कि हम पता नहीं कुछ पुण्य का काम ऐसा कर रहे हैं जो ऐसे लोग हम कर रहे हैं।
According to medical health science expert, physical activity in older people is critically important in the prevention of disease and improvement of quality of life, and they should engage in at least 150 minutes of moderate intensity aerobic exercise per week.
In today's day and age, we are blessed with a young population in India. But in coming years, we'll have two challenges. This young population is going to age, and we are going to have people who are going to age. We have to take care of them. So it is very important to keep ourselves fit so that we can contribute to the economy.
Fitness and sports are crucial for senior citizens. Regular physical activity helps maintain physical health, improves mental well-being, and reduces the risk of chronic diseases.
The Master Athletics Meets aims to promote a healthy lifestyle and encourage people to participate in sports. In today's fast-paced life, people have neglected their health, and this event wants to rekindle their interest in sports and fitness. In Delhi with cameraman Gaurav Giri, this is Abhishek Prasad for DD India.
And we now take you to Sweden, where ahead of Nobel Prize award ceremony, the media facade about the works of South Korean novelist Han Kang, the winner of 2024 Nobel Prize in Literature, was shown on the wall of Stockholm City Hall. A sentence from a novel, The White Book, is flashed on the screen first in Korean and then in English. It says, "White by nature is nothing at all, but within that nothingness, everything exists." Experts personally recite one of Han's works. And India's public broadcaster Prasar Bharati has recently launched Waves, entering the field of OTT platform. Waves provides a complete infotainment ecosystem to digital media and OTT audiences. If you also want great content for free, then download Waves today. And we'll be back with more news as it breaks here on DD India. I'm Abhishek from all of us here in Delhi. Thanks for watching DD India News Hour.